Welcome to the next week. For the next week, we're going to be focusing on the role of consumers. And when we look at consumers, they're involved in a couple different aspects. We're going to be looking at consumer surplus, and we're going to be looking at the role of taxation. Now, when we look at taxation, you'll notice that we're looking at who pays the incident of a tax. And what I mean by incident of a tax, who's paying for the majority of the good or service in question. So in Chapter 7, we're going to be looking at consumer producer surplus. Producer surplus is how much a producer receives minus how much they're willing to do a project. So for example, if I have a contractor come over to my house and he's willing to remodel my kitchen for $10,000, but in the back of his mind he says, you know what, I'll do it for $6,000. So if we lower the price to $8,000, he's still willing to do it because of his willingness to pay or produce. Consumers are a little different. Consumers are looking at what am I willing to do, what am I willing to pay minus how much I have to pay. The consumer surplus and producer surplus are affected by the role of prices. If there's a change in the price, let's say the price of a good increases, you'll notice that consumer surplus will decrease and producer surplus will increase. So for this week, we're going to be looking at consumer producer surplus. I'm going to give you a lot of examples and problems on the test. I put a lot of different videos that reflecting producer consumer surplus, taxation as well. So you want to focus on that aspect when you look at taxation. And who pays the incident of a tax? That's the key component. You're going to have another quiz, which you're familiar with the setup. On the quiz, make sure to focus on what we're looking at in terms of how to set up these different analyses in terms of the role of taxation. So welfare economics, that's a term you might see. Focus on the role of welfare economics and focus on the role of consumer producer surplus. And if you have any questions, let me know. But I look forward to your effort this week.